Welcome to Black Writer Therapy, the podcast where Black women writers come to heal, share, and be their most unapologetic Black woman writer selves. I'm your host and unlicensed therapist, Alishawn, and I'm excited you decided to spend this hour with us. Whether you're joining for the first time or you're a returning listener, this is your space to explore the art of storytelling, find inspiration, and connect with a community of bold and brilliant Black women writers.
Well, Ella, today Kelly Morgan is in the waiting room. She is an author, publisher, and storyteller who doesn't shy away from the truth. She's the force behind Bright-Headed Publishing, LLC, where she champions bold, unapologetic stories, especially ones that amplify Black voices. Her novel, Wait For It, is a raw, emotional journey that tackles body image, grief, self-worth, and what really happens after the so-called glow-up. When she's not writing or publishing, Kelly's living life fully. She's a world traveler, wellness advocate, yoga lover, and mom to a culinary genius. Yes, they started a cookie biz together. She also co-runs Nyumba LLC, a wellness and sustainability brand rooted in simple living. Meditation, music, movies, and good energy? Non-negotiables. Kelly's not just here to talk books. She's here to talk real life, healing, and everything in between. Ms. Morgan, Ella will see you now.
I'm so excited to have you here. And just because I've read like your bio and some other things about you because I'm snooping and I'm like, oh, I can't wait to pick her brain. So thank you so much.
Thank you. So excited to be here. So happy to be here.
Good. So we've already done your bio and that'll also be posted. But there is like, oh my goodness. And now I see this, your publishing company's name. Clever. Very clever. And so, yes, you all missed the whole conversation prior to this, right? But yes, she shared something with me. And now I'm like, everything's coming together.
Right.
So I love that. I'm going to ask you about it because I think people would find this really interesting. So
Okay.
you're a publishing company. You have an independent publishing company.
Correct.
Which is awesome. I love to see us Black women out here taking charge and doing what's best for us and not waiting for a system that was never made for us to say, yeah, come on in. We found you.
Well, when I decided that I wanted to be an author, I was very naive about the publishing industry. I didn't know anything about it. I just thought you wrote a book, somebody would publish it because it's the best thing ever, right? And that it would be a hit, and that 3 weeks later I'd be on this great book tour, and then I'd be going on Oprah, and she'd be wanting me on her book club, and it was just going to happen within a year's time, right? And I was very naive. And so when I wrote my first book, which is called You Sound White, I started pitching it and got a lot of no's. I got this one publisher that said yes. And I didn't understand about an independent publisher or whatever. I didn't get it, right? I just thought a publisher was a publisher. And when this guy said yes to me, he gassed me up. He told me all these great things that were going to happen. I was going to go on podcasts. I was going to go on a book tour. All of these things were going to happen. And they helped me find a cover for the book and everything. And they were going to publish it on their platforms. All these things were going to happen. And then he hit me with it. Well, how many books are you going to buy? And I was like, well, what do you mean buy books? I thought that's what you did. He's like, well, buy this many copies. It's going to be $700. And I said, okay. And I gave this man $700 because I didn't know any better. And he took my $700, and shortly after that, he just ghosted me, just gone, not returning my emails, not returning my calls. However, he did put the book, You Sound White, on Amazon. It was published. It was out there. But if it made any money, if it sold any copies, I have no idea. I never saw anything from him. I never saw any copies of the books either from my $700. And this went on for about a year and I was devastated after that. I didn't tell anybody for a long time because I was very ashamed because I had gotten taken. I felt so stupid because I had told everybody, I'm going to be this writer, I'm an author, I'm published. You couldn't tell me nothing. And if somebody had anything negative to say, we weren't, I ain't got time for you. I'm an author now. I was
Right.
so ashamed. And then one day I just wanted the book back. Nobody's going to take my case, but this one attorney took pity on me. And he actually called me and he
Oh.
told me to write a cease and desist letter, make it sound all formal. And he told me to go to the Better Business Bureau. He actually sent me a template of a letter to write, right? He goes, you can even put my name on it if you want to, whatever. I did it. And about a month later, the book just released one day. I just had it back. It was mine.
Wow.
He just released it. But I didn't do anything after that. I'm down, but I'm never defeated, right? But I was down for a long time. But so one day I said, you know what? I'm going to self-publish. I'm tired of waiting for a seat at the table. I'm going to build my own table. And so I did. And I said, well, what do I call it? And my friend's like, well, what does your name mean? I'm like, well, my name is Irish. It's Kelly. She goes, well, what does it mean? Oh, it means bright-headed. Well, there you go. And there is the name of the publishing company, Bright-Headed Publishing. So I self-published under Bright-Headed Publishing. And I published You Sound White. And I came out again. And this time I thought, well, you know what? I'm going to help other people so nobody has to go through this ever again. And I started a podcast. It was called Bright-Headed PHB Podio Book Club. And I would just interview authors like you. But guess what? That's all I did. It became so overwhelming and so consumed that the outreach was just wow. I didn't have time for anything. That's all I did for like a year. That I did nothing for me. And so one day I had to stop. And I stopped everything. I got a horrible review on You Sound White. And I'm devastated because I republished it and it didn't have a good edit on it. So the person they gave me an honest review, but it wasn't a good review, right?
Right.
And so I took it very personally. My feelings were hurt again. I'm wounded. I'm not doing this no more. I'm not built for this. I told myself, you're not built for this. Yeah. So I'm done. I'm done helping other people. There's no time for me. I got a horrible review. Why am I doing this? I'm done. So I stopped, took everything off again, took You Sound White off the market, not doing this no more. COVID hit, ran into a funk, and I've always been somebody that goes back and forth with their weight. So not only do I have this going on, I have my whole body issue weight thing going on with myself. You lose the weight, you gain it back. You do every fad diet, you do every exercise, you drink yourself to thinness, whatever, you take diet, whatever. But it's not the right way. It's the
Right.
quick, easy, shortcut way. And then COVID hits and we start eating our feelings.
Mhm.
And I was working out on a consistent basis and I was losing weight, but COVID hit, gym closes. We're all depressed. Eating the feelings, I ballooned to about 275. I am now completely depressed. And one day and when I'm depressed, I write. I have some very, very sad poetry, right? I write really bad, sad poetry when I'm depressed. But this time I wrote, wait for it. And I wrote it as fiction, but it was therapy for me to kind of see what's happening, but I removed myself from the situation and kind of wrote it as fiction, but all the things that happened to this character happened to me, not in this order, not exactly, but some of the instances where she's very fanatical in her weight loss. And this book doesn't talk about the before or the after. This is about the middle. This is about the stuff that nobody talks about. And I don't know about you, but my scale would talk to me. And in the book, the scale talks to her. So when she steps on it, it's incredibly judgmental. Calls her Tubby a lot. And she listens to this scale because the scale tells her, you have to shrink yourself to be worthy. Okay? This is what society tells you. If you want a healthy romantic relationship, if you want to be happy, you need to shrink. You are not worthy. But I'm the scale, and I'm going to tell you when you are worthy because you're going to listen to me and you're going to shrink and you're going to shrink fast and you're going to do everything I tell you. Because this is how you get to be worthy, right? And so this is what the book is about because this is how I felt about weight loss. Weight loss it's when somebody tells you that you're not valued because you weigh 270, You feel like any attention that you get from a man or the opposite sex, you feel like you must reciprocate because who's going to want you at 270?
Right.
I don't even want me at 270. How could I expect you to want me at 270? So that is what Wait For It is about. It is about the messy middle of weight loss, the things that we don't say out loud, right? How fanatical we can get in this journey, and how, in fact, losing weight, you lose yourself, right? And I came to the conclusion that it's not the pressure of the weight loss. It's the pressure that we put on ourselves to be what society tells us to be, especially as a Black woman, because we're already too much. Okay.
Okay.
So you're
Okay.
already too loud. You're too Black. You're too aggressive. You're too intimidating. You're too everything, but I'm not enough. So how could I possibly be too much?
Oh, I love that question. How
That
can I
is what
possibly be too
the
much?
book was my therapy to understand that weight loss is a long game. Weight loss is a journey. It is a life-changing decision. It's not the short game. It's the long game. And in the book, the character has to go through all of these things, lose friends, lose family, get fanatical, take it to the extreme to realize that that's not what it's all about.
Yeah.
Right. And to really kind of listen to what's in here before you can listen to what's out there. So that is my journey. So in all of this, I started Brighthead Publishing. I republished Wait For You Sound White. I published Wait For It and did an audiobook, but I told myself this time it was going to be different. Right? I was going to set boundaries. I was still going to help others because it's very important to me to help others. I feel like that's what I'm supposed to do. It's just weird. I can't explain it to anybody. I just feel like that's what I'm supposed to do. Right?
Yes.
So I want to help others, but I can't give you everything. Right? I got to keep some for me. Right? But I definitely want to help. So what I've done is I've started the platform. My brand is that I want to help underrepresented voices get their words out there. So if I can help you and help you avoid getting ripped off, avoid spending a lot of money where you don't have to, if there are ways that we can mitigate fees for you and even do things for free, let's do it. I even have a guide on my website. It's called So You Want to Write a Book? It's free. Go download it. It will at least help you. It doesn't teach you how to write the book, but it teaches you all the things that you should know if you're going to actually one day maybe publish this book, right?
Yeah.
And then I also started the Author's Mic, which is just a mini cast, 5 to 7 minutes where I give tips and tricks, but I've opened the platform to other authors. So if they want to come and promote their book for 5 minutes, I'll be quiet. I'll just sit. It's your platform. You do whatever you want with your 5 minutes of fame. You want to promote, you want to read a snippet, you want to do some poetry. If you're a creative in this space, if you're an editor, an illustrator, and you want to pitch what you do and maybe see if you can, help somebody, yeah, let's do it. Come on to the show. You don't have to pitch me per se. Everybody is welcome. Then I thought, well, okay, how do I market said book? How do I help others? So I started a book club. It's called the Indie Reader Society. It's the IRS. We launch on the 15th of June. The first book that we're reading is mine. It's called Wait For It. We're going to read Wait For It. Okay. And then after that, it's open to other indie authors. If you've never pitched a book club, pitch ours. There's a form on my link tree, fill it out, and the book club will vote like every other book club does, but it's really, really for indie authors. I want to highlight indie authors. I want to help you market your book. So a book club is a great way to do that. Right? So that's another way that you can do it, very inexpensive and something that I can offer. And I'm really trying to build an indie author community. And I'm trying to just do this grassroots. So I'm not out there, pitching bullshit. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to give you real stuff that you can use that's out there for free. Why would I charge you for information you can get for free? However, you got to know where to go. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. If you want to get into bookstores, you got to be on Ingram Sparks. A lot of people don't know that. You can't be exclusive with Amazon to be on other platforms. A lot of people don't know that. You got to have an ISBN. They cost money. However, Ingram Sparks will give you a free one. A lot of people don't know that. Stuff like that is what I give on my podcast, but I want to also highlight other authors. And I will stop talking because, girl, that is a lot of information.
No, I love it. It's like sitting down for a master class, right? I mean, it's one of the selfish reasons I started this podcast because like I can learn. I learn so much every time I have an author on here. And it doesn't matter, right? Trade or indie or hybrid, it doesn't matter. I learn so much. And this really is this space, right, is for the guest, right? I say you come in, you sit on my proverbial couch. I am the unlicensed therapist, and I'm just here to listen, right? And ask a few guiding questions and play Dr. Phyllis because that's kind of where my wheelhouse is. I love everything you said. Everything you said, I was like, check, check. Yes, underrepresented writers, check. Black people, yes, check. Everything you said was like amazing.
So I just want to help others avoid the pitfalls because everybody has a story. And you know what? I heard a statistic. Let's say 10 people want to write a book, maybe four will. Out of those
Yeah.
four, maybe two will actually publish.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if you're thinking, I really want to publish, and maybe you just want to publish for you, maybe you just want to hold it in your hand. That
Mm-hmm.
could be success.
Oh, yeah.
That could be enough for you. Okay. It's very simple to do. It won't cost you a lot of money. Might be a little time consuming, but we could figure it out. And guess what? I wouldn't even charge you for it because it's free.
Mm-hmm.
Why would I charge you
Mm-hmm.
for something you don't need me to do it, but I'm willing to help you or to show you. I want to teach you how to fish,
Right.
right? So that you can go fish and write a bunch of books and maybe change somebody's life.
Yeah, I
No,
love this. It's so genuine. It is so genuine. And I'm a really big energy person. And it's like your energy is so very genuine.
I just believe this 100%.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I will tell you because I am human. Sometimes when I'm sitting doing this, sometimes there are days where I think, man, I don't know if anybody's even listening, right? Because,
Right.
sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it's quiet. So you're just like, is anybody listening? But I know that we get caught up in that because we get caught up in the social media hamster wheel. And it's not
Yeah.
about likes and views. That's not why I'm here. And sometimes I have to remind myself that it's not about likes and views, Kelly. It's about
Mm-hmm.
resonating with that one person who will reach out to you and be like, you know what? I'm going to write that book.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Thank you because I was going to do this and you said not to and you were right and you saved me $1,000 because I could figure it out. I
Yeah.
could do it myself. Fantastic. I'm not necessarily after your money, but I would love to help you get your words out there. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? If that's what you want to do, especially if because we are underrepresented as Black women, right?
Yeah. I don't think people realize how underrepresented Black women are in the publishing industry. Like less than 1% in trade publishing are actually Black women. And it's the number, right, becomes almost minuscule when you're talking about Black women who are writing literary works and fiction, right? And they are being pushed like their white counterparts. It is almost like a non-starter to even think about it, except if you're writing certain kinds of material that I call it the American machine wants to push
Well, I
about.
will tell you, it's funny that you say that. When I was pitching Wait for It, because I wasn't really sure about Bright-Headed at the time, I thought, well,
Hmm.
maybe somebody else would do all this work for me, right? Maybe I can find a publisher because I strongly believed in this book because this was like my testament to a
Hmm.
whole life change for me. So I'm like, I'm pitching this. And I found a publisher who was like, I would be interested. However, it seems to me that the characters are African American. 100%. I said, I write what I know. Would you be willing to change that? Absolutely not. So, no. You know what? And that's when I said, you know what? Why on earth are you asking for a seat at these tables that were never meant for you, Kelly? You know what, man? I'm not begging for a chair no more. I'm not. So I built my own. Now, if
That
you
part.
want to come sit at this table, trust and believe you do not have to beg to get here, man. Just bring yourself and bring your authentic self. And
Yes.
let's see what
Yes.
we can do.
But the audacity, right? The
Yes.
audacity.
I'm not
I sound
begging.
like, yeah. I sound like a good friend of mine. She's like, the audacity how would you ask someone, can you make your characters not what you made them originally?
Somebody told me, you sound white was offensive. I said, well, if it's offensive, you need to check yourself,
Stop telling
right?
people.
Because I'm the one who's been told I'm offended. Okay. How could what? Somebody told me that was not, people were gonna, that was not gonna sell. Well, you know what? And this is my comment to anybody, any naysayer who's out there about any work that you authentically put out. If that makes you feel uncomfortable, you know what? It's not for you, right?
That
So
part.
you
That
can
part.
move on. It was not written for you. It's not about you. It's not for you. And you can naysay all you want. But I have learned in this industry that you cannot have you can't, gotta have a tough skin, right? Because you're going to hear no a lot as an indie author.
Mhm.
You're going to hear no an awful lot, but I have told myself no does not stop me. It's just redirection or rejection is redirection, right? That door maybe isn't for me, and that's okay.
That's it.
There are 8 billion people on this planet. I'm pretty sure my words are resonating with somebody, okay? Maybe not,
That,
it's not,
yeah.
maybe it's not for you. And I've dealt with rejection in it. For a minute, I'm human. So yeah, I'm not saying I'm Teflon. So
Mhm.
yes, but I have to just redirect myself. And I listen and honor the voice that's inside because the voice inside says, never dim that light. Even in
Right.
doubt, never dim that light. And I will say this as a game changer for me, somebody who's, dealt with a lot of body image and all that type of stuff. And really, I think has come out on the other side a little stronger,
Mhm.
have dealt with some loss of like my book and going through that, just life. A game changer for me has been affirmations. And this is something I've said on the author's mic. I have given
Mhm.
authors affirmations. And so honestly, affirmations work. If you're not a believer, they work. You have to give yourself positive chatter. Don't expect positive chatter or validation from anybody until you can validate yourself. Okay.
That's it.
100%. Affirmations help me, but a game changer for me was recording them in my own voice and then
Mhm.
playing them back to myself.
Yes.
So I listen to my affirmations every single morning. And I've recorded them over time where there's like an hour worth of them. And I just put on headphones after I meditate because I'm a firm believer in meditation because like I said, I listen to the voice inside. And so
Mhm.
it has to get quiet for me to listen. And the voice inside tells me I'm on the right path. So even though I'd be like, are you sure? You know?
When you said earlier, you said something like,
So
I don't even know why I feel like I have to help people, but I just
I just did.
And yes, I facilitate a writing workshop. It's 10 months and it's to decolonize the erotic, not the erotic chicka bow, bang, wang, pizza box, not that, right? But the erotic as power, the erotic as feminine divine. And so we are like 4 months in and we were talking about desire. And I said, I personally believe if we're going to take desire out of this colonial construct and we look at it from a more spiritual lens, that the stuff you truly desire is not the stuff you truly want.
Oh my God, you preach, please.
And I was like, that was so hard for me to contend with because I was like, still stuck in the colonial construct, right? Desire equals want, desire equals lust, desire equals all that stuff. And I was like, no, that can't be right. Because no, because what I want is like all the stuff that makes me happy and giddy and feel great. But the desires of my heart, I really don't want any of it, right? I don't want any of it. I would be happy not to have to contend with any of it, but I cannot not go after it. And so
Right.
when you said what you said, I was like, you're living through your desires. And that is always a great thing because that's the beginning of manifesting the things that you chose to have here. So yeah, I love that for you.
Well, it's really important to me as I get older that ultimately, when I think about all the things that I want, even in this author space, like even, like when I think about, okay, Kelly, what do you want as an author? Like, what is it that you want? Do you
Hmm.
want like bestseller New York? Is that going to make you happy? What is it that you want? And I said, I would love to sell some books. Sure. Who wouldn't? Is that the end game? No. I would love that my words would resonate with somebody and would like help somebody. And they'd be like, oh my God, Kelly, your words just, man, that to me would be like, That's the end game for me. And then I just want to be happy like everybody else. And that is helping others. I just enjoy helping other people. Now, ultimately, I'm going to have to make a living at this. So, everything can't be free all the time. Let's be real. I'm a realist. I'm going to have to someday charge you for my services, which are going to be very good when I'm building infrastructure right now. I want to be able to, I would love to take on another author and publish others. That's the goal. Could I do it today? Yes. Am I fully prepared? No. So do I feel good about charging you for something that I'm still building? No, I don't. But January 2026, it's on and cracking. You know what I'm saying? So I'm
Okay.
the infrastructure, which is why I'm building the book club and I'm trying to get into bookstores so that I can do these same things for you, so that I can say I've got a marketing strategy that's going to work and I'm going to charge you X, but I'm going to do all the legwork because it's a proven plan. That is what I want to offer you, because I want to give you the best return on whatever investment you make. Because I understand, man, that's why we all show up, for work. And I understand it's important. And I understand that when you give your money, you want to see something come back, especially in this space where there's a lot of predators out there. I see a lot of companies who say, yeah, we'll publish you for $5.99 and you'll get all this stuff. But ultimately, guess what, author? You're the one who's going to probably be doing the bulk of that marketing. I don't
And
care what they say.
the thing is, Kelly, it doesn't matter who publishes you. Trade publishers, I've had traditionally published authors on my show, and it is they are doing all of their marketing.
Yes.
If they're like new or mid, and even your mid tier, like these people are bestsellers, right? They have like deals that have gone on to become movies, and they are still responsible
For
for
marketing.
all of their marketing and most of their PR. And it's just like, no, I was like you. If I'm getting published by a publishing house, then they're taking care of marketing and they're setting me up with, a tour and all of this, that, and the third. And no, they're not. And you're probably not getting a big advance either.
And if you are having a public relations person, guess who's paying for the public relations person? You are.
Yeah.
Ultimately, yes, they're going to even if the publisher makes it look like they're covering it, I guarantee you it's coming out of your royalties.
And that's another thing that I have come to understand, because I was like really gung-ho. I'm going to be published by one of the big five and I'm going to get my agent and I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. And I have talked to so many authors and I've done so much research. I was like, you know what? I'm not, because I've had authors say, yeah, I get maybe $1 or $2 per book for royalties until all of the everything has been paid back, until they have, recouped their investments. And I'm like, what's the point? Pay up front and then get your money because you're selling crazy books. But, everybody has their own journey, and there is a reason to publish with whatever kind of publisher you're going with.
So you got to know the why.
You have to know your why.
Got to know the why. You got to know the how. How are you going to do it?
Yeah. Most of them that say I had to do trade. I remember Vanessa Riley was on the show and she said, I went through it so that I could help somebody else not go through as much. And that is the song and that is the refrain for most Black women writers. And that is why I love us so much. And that is why I go so hard for Black women writers. And I try and create spaces for us, because we need to be in spaces where we can just be.
Yes. And you know what? And the funny thing is that there is more than enough for all of us, right? There's no reason for us to compete or throw shade or any of that in this space, because there is more than enough for everybody. And if we all have that mindset, we will come up together. So I'm not in competition with anybody. Right? If I come across another author, even another publisher who looks just like me, doing just what I'm doing, my whole thing is let us collaborate, because girl, we are starting to build a village, a community. Let's do it. You know what I'm saying? That's my attitude. So just, I'm not a competitor. I'm a collaborator.
Me too. I am all about the collective. What did I say when we were talking? We need to collaborate. And if I feel like, oh wait, this is going to be something, then I'm reaching out. And
Yeah. So
I'm saying, hey, we need to get together. That happened a couple of months ago, and wonderful woman that I have met now, and we're like in the thick of it, losing our minds in it. And because why not? Why not? What are you
well,
doing?
it's just something that like I said, I strongly believe in. I really always try to bring my authentic self. It may not resonate with everybody, but I know that I think it resonates with somebody. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
so that's why I'm here. So,
Yeah.
I'm all about it. Whatever we can do in the future, I'm like, let's do it. Cause I'm always open, and doing anything virtual, in person. I'm always catch a flight.
Hmm.
You should take your writing class and maybe make it into a retreat.
Get out of my head, girl. Get out of my
You
head.
know, all types of things that you could do. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? That we could do to
Yes.
collaborate to really build a community for us,
Hmm.
for us. A community that just outshines any other community because we are strong in numbers and Black women are,
Exactly. I don't even have words for us, right? I'm just saying,
right?
but you put us
You
together and
know,
you take out that
whatever we
colonial
touch,
stuff.
it's just that magic. Whatever we
Yep.
touch, just, you know, mm, mm,
Yeah.
mm.
I know. I'm over here with goosebumps. I'm feeling so proud to be a Black woman. I'm like, yes, that is us. We are. We are those
Yeah.
people.
So, yes,
Hmm.
I'm all
Yeah.
about it.
I love that. I love that. Okay. Look, this is what happens on this podcast, right? We've been talking. I hadn't even asked my first good question yet, which is again why I love this. But I have to ask the question that I ask every guest because I just don't know that people consider it enough for themselves and for others. So, Kelly, how are you healing today?
How am I feeling today?
How are you healing?
How am I healing today? You know what? Healing is not something that you check off, right?
Mm-mm.
It's a daily thing. It's a practice. So I
Mm-hmm.
heal daily with meditation. I meditate every morning. I meditate before my feet hit the ground. I meditate the first thing I do in the morning. I know some people get up and check their phone. Let me check my social. No, 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 no. I put my headphones on and I meditate. That's the first
Mm-hmm.
thing that I do in the morning. After I'm done meditating, immediately, I do still not go check social media. I do those affirmations,
Okay.
right? So I play those in my earphones for those play for about an hour. And then once those are done, then I will check my email, whatever. That's what I do on a daily. Practice yoga.
Mm-hmm.
So I do yoga at least 5 times a week, right? And then I work out too. So sometimes I work out and do yoga at the same time or twice a day. So I work out on a daily. It's just a part of who I am. So I exercise on a daily as well. And that could be yoga, it could be weights, it could be walking the dog, but you have to move your body
Mm-hmm.
daily, right? And then the big
Yes.
healer of all, how I heal on a daily is I laugh because laughter is infectious and I have to. I'm a jokester. If I'm not joking with somebody in this house, they think something's wrong with me because I am constantly that's just my personality. I just love to laugh. So anytime I can make a jokey joke, I sing too. Everything is a song.
Oh,
I tell my kids my life is a musical. And if I knew you well enough, we would have sang this entire interview because I'm not a
friend,
good singer. I'm
we
not a good
can.
singer, but girl, in my head, let me tell you something.
I don't
Now
understand.
I'm selling out stadiums.
And you are, right? You are. I am here to enable the delusion until it becomes the reality.
Sing
Me. That's me.
ev-
I am listening to you and I'm like,
everything.
wait a minute. Are we related?
And I make up songs. I mean, I just literally will make songs up. You give
Me
me a
too.
topic, we will put it in a rhyme all the time.
Okay. Okay. Stop because we may change up the rules of this game at the end. We may change this up just for you. Just for you. And I
That
tell
is
you, I'm like
that
a
is my
medication.
healing. That is my
Yes,
healing. I'm
that is
all
it.
about the good, positive energy. Try
Hmm.
to bring it every day.
Yes. I love this, man. I'm like, I'm feeling seen, which is to say that you are a reflection of me. And it feels, and I'm like, oh, is that what I look like? God. Really? Is that the energy I'm bringing to the I like it because I don't know. You don't know what you're bringing. But I know that you are a reflection of me. And I'm just like, I know what you, girl. Right? So yeah. My gosh. I'm sorry. My headphones are like connected to my computer, obviously. And I just had like my music come on.
Works.
Ancestors. The ancestors are like confirmation, please. So yeah, I love everything that I could literally just sit here and just go,
Just have a chat.
just listen. I just listen because it is rare that I meet someone who is so like simpatico. Because I'm always the oddball in the group, right? I'm always the one who's like, girl, you are an alien.
Yeah.
Because what the world? Where's this thought coming from? Why do you do that? And I'm like, oh, I am not
I
alone.
was always the one that would just have the random thoughts, just random, and be like, I gotta ask somebody. So I might call you and you might say hello, and I might be, do you think dogs bark in Spanish?
And I've often wondered that. I'm just saying.
And they'll be like, what? I said, well, if you brought that Spanish dog to America, would it understand other dogs?
I often wonder because that's a good question. And this is why you're a writer, right? Because it is that curiosity. It is the curiosity that fuels the imagination and then it erupts the desire to
And I
know
have a
more.
whole and don't get me to people watching because I can make up a whole narrative about a complete stranger and tell you all about them and why they are pushing that grocery cart at that moment and what happened 3 days prior to them getting. You know what I'm saying? I don't get.
Be sure to come back for the second half of the show. Ella and Kelly talk more about the importance of connecting and supporting within the Black woman writing space. And now, a word from Southern Momentum Publishing.
Southern Momentum Publishing House is rewriting the rules of hybrid publishing. Our collaborative model is rooted in communal reciprocity. You bring your skills and talents, we bring the infrastructure. Together, we publish your book without draining your pockets. It's cultural care for marginalized Southern women. We write, we design, we uplift, and we do it on our own terms. I'm coming to Aurora. I'm coming back to Aurora. I need to watch people who, I need to go people watching in a different space. I'll be in Aurora eventually. And we can just sit and tell stories. I don't have anybody to do that with me. Because when I tell you I love that,
That's what kids are like,
and
really? My kids are like, really? 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 I got a whole. That's why they won't watch movies with me because I don't even know the movie and I'll sit down and have a whole narrative. They'll be like, you are wrong. Well, my movie's better than what you're watching.
Exactly. So yes, that is the thing. That's what I'm sensing here is that definitely simpatico and all of it looks amazing. It looks amazing on you, which means it looks amazing on me. I love that. So we're going to get into this book. I know you've talked a lot about it, but I just want to say, number one, I absolutely love the title. Wait for it, because that is a double entendre. You've spelled it like wait that you gain or lose, right?
Yes.
But also wait and wait for what's going to happen, right?
Wait for it. Yes.
Yeah,
See what happens.
I love it. I love that. And you said it was your therapy.
It was very therapeutic for me.
Mhm.
Because to write the things that you don't want to say out loud, right? And then to read them is very shocking because you're like, whoa.
Mhm.
As I'm reading it, I'm like, man, this woman's got issues with her weight. What's with the fanatic and and just like, wow. Like, man, Kelly, you just really, man, and just a lot of the things that happened to her happened to me. And it's really funny because I read the whole story in like an evening to my daughter, right after I wrote it.
Mhm.
And she was like, Mom, I noticed something. The character does not have a name. Her name is not uttered anywhere in the book. Nowhere. And I was like, huh, that's very interesting. I think because maybe I wrote it in first person, right? I think
Mhm.
subconsciously I wrote this book in first person because third person she would have had a name. She doesn't have a
Mhm.
name, and I never gave her a name. So the protagonist has no name. Nobody in this book utters her name. And I did not do that on purpose. It just wrote that way. It's like, oh, I'm gonna leave that. And I don't know if, and she caught it. I didn't even catch it. And as I read the book, I'm like, you're right. Her name is not uttered in the book. You know why? Because she could literally be anybody.
Yeah.
She could be any. I didn't want to give her a name, you know?
That in and of itself, like not giving a name. And it's just like, yes, she could be anybody. But here's the old English teacher in me, right? Let us break that down, right? So I'm coming to a book club, trust and believe. Because I'm just like not giving your character a name. And this is what, autofiction, right? It's kind of autobiographical, but it's very much fiction.
Right.
So
Very much fiction.
autofiction. And so, but not giving her a name, it's almost like putting a mask on her and allowing you to like see her as something completely other.
And that is why it's therapy, because I could go back and read this and be like, man, and really remove myself and decide what changes I was going to make. And the hardest part of writing this book was the ending because it hasn't ended. Do you know what I mean? So it was hard
Exactly.
for me to end this. I'm like, how do I end this? I don't even know. So it was hard. It was hard to make up an ending because it hadn't ended, right?
Mhm.
So it was very difficult for me to do that. That was the hardest. I struggled with the ending of this book. It was
Yeah.
very difficult for me to end this book. And I don't know. I don't know if I ended it. I always struggled, even though I wrote it about this is the ending, I said, I don't even know if I like the ending. I can say that about my own book. I mean, it's not a
Hmm.
bad ending. I still want you to read it. You're not going to be disappointed, but I know that there's so much more that this character could have told you or done, but I felt like it needed to come to an end so that I could start going off and making the changes that I saw in the book. Does that make sense? I could have kept writing, but
100%.
I'm like, I need to stop because I need to like go do Kelly, right? I need to go do some changes in your own life so that you can
Yeah.
actually get on with it. So yes, I had to end the book, right?
Did you leave it at a space where if you wanted to, you could slip back in with a sequel? Good.
You could. Somebody had asked me, like, for You Sound White, there's a bunch of different characters in the other book, You Sound White, bunch of different characters. And somebody asked me, would I ever take one of those characters and do like a spin-off? And I was like, ooh, I actually could maybe go and do like a prequel. Right? I'm
Hmm.
like, ooh, you actually could. For this one, yeah, you could actually do what I would say is a part two, a continuation of,
Hmm.
yeah, you could, I think a lot of people always like are so quick to get to the after, everything we do in life is here's a before, here's a after, right? But I
Hmm.
still think we're very much in the middle,
Yeah,
right?
that's the longest part, right? Then you get the before is like that day you were kind of squirming out, and then
Right?
the after is when you're dead. Because okay, and so
Right?
the middle, that's what
We're
matters.
very much in the middle, right?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of us don't, we're just so focused on the after. So is the what ifs or when I get that
Hmm.
promotion, when I lose weight, I will do this. When I get enough money, I will go on vacation. When
Hmm.
I get this, I will, it's always the moments are now.
That's it.
Right? The moments are
That's
now.
it.
There's never gonna be a good time for you to do anything that's really important to you. Live that dream. There's never gonna be the perfect moment. Now is the perfect moment. And I always say, don't focus on perfection. Just do it. You can always go
That's
back and
it.
fix stuff, right? You can
That's it.
always go
It
back
was
and change. You can always pivot. You can always have redirection. It's okay if stuff doesn't work out the first time. It's never a failure. It's always a learning lesson. Change your mindset, change your world, that type of thing.
yeah, yeah. I think people just get so attached to like having a certain way of moving in the world because that's what we see. We see people move a certain way, and so we're like we have to move in that way if we're going to get the things that we want. But I'm often reminded that if I make my dream my focus point, if I am focusing on my dream and giving my attention to that, that I can't see yet, that I don't have any evidence of, but I'm still feeding that and not what I can see, then that becomes the reality. And everything else is just like, okay, whatever. Because I'm like, you can't be attached to this reality trying to create a new reality for
That's true.
yourself. Like that does not work. So you have to be able to consciously detach from this space while still experiencing it, right? But also knowing everything I do is in preparation for this thing ahead of me.
I have to constantly tell myself that I'm enjoying the process, even on days when I'm not, right? Because there's some days I'm just, I'm not up to this marketing. I don't want to go on TikTok or Instagram or any other platform because I am not one for social media. It
Hmm.
is a tool. It is not the end all to me because I think as an author, you got to get a lot of people are just stuck on social media and that's not it, right?
Yeah.
And I think for me, it's easier to kind of enjoy the process because I'm a gardener. I'm a master gardener, right? And so,
Are
yeah,
you?
I'm a master gardener here in Colorado. Yeah, I'm a master gardener, certified.
That is a desire. That is a desire of mine. I don't want to be a gardener because what the world? But I can't not stop buying seeds. I can't not stop getting all the things.
We are you like my long lost twin because I have a seed addiction. I have a bag full of seeds. But as I was saying, because I know that things take time, I don't
Hmm.
plant a seed and then yell at it every day to grow. I plant it. I have faith that it will grow, right? I
Hmm.
know that it will grow. I know that if I do what I'm supposed to do, which is water it and make sure it has the right environment, that it will eventually grow. I know this. So I have to kind of take that same energy and put it in what I do as an author. I
Hmm.
know that if I put the book out there, somebody will eventually read it,
Hmm.
and resonate and or
Yeah.
even buy it, right? So much that I've even taken another step of faith. And this is a big one for me. I have decided that I'm going to sell my own books, right? Something I've never done before. So I
Hmm.
ordered them in bulk from Ingram Sparks. I've set up my website and I will now begin to sell books from my own website as opposed to leaning on Amazon or Barnes and Noble or any other
Yeah.
platform,
Yep.
right? Which I've never done before. I haven't sold a book yet. I just started doing this like the other day, like literally yesterday, right? And so I'm like, okay, but
Congratulations. Let me say congratulations to you because that's
thank
such a
you.
bold move. Good for you.
Because I want to be able to bring that to other authors so that when you sell it, you get to keep the majority of those profits, right?
Yeah.
You're
Yes.
not leaning on Amazon or Barnes and Noble or any other platform,
Yeah.
right? You are
Yeah.
you're doing this on your own steam and you're getting value for your investment. So that's why I decided to do it. So it's a
Hmm.
scary move for me because I'm like, well, God, when if I buy these books and nobody buys them? I'm telling you, these are the things I think about that I have learned to now say out loud. But more, I'm telling you, at
Yeah.
the
That, I
beginning.
mean, and that's a possibility, right? But then it's like, but if, what if I have these books and I sell out?
Right? Exactly. But most of us don't go there. We
Too
tend to
afraid.
go to the negative, like what if nobody buys them? What if no, yes, you're right. I never even said when if I sell out. So thank you for that because
Hmm.
now I will incorporate that into my day
Yes,
because it's just scary to put yourself out there. I am
it is.
incredibly human. I know that like when people see social media, everybody's always living their best possible life ever, right? And we all, you're like, oh, I want to be them. And sometimes I catch myself being like, I'll see like I'll be just scrolling and I'll see an author doing whatever. And it looks like, oh my God, they're selling their books and they're engaging with their readers and it's all great. And then I want that too. And I catch myself saying, well, wait a minute, Kelly. You can't compare yourself to others. You don't know what that person's journey has been. You have no idea how long they've been doing this. She could have been
Hmm.
doing this for 20 years. You don't know. Stop comparing yourself to others and just go back and refocus on your journey. So I have these conversations with myself
Yeah.
on a daily, especially if when I'm on social media, because it's hard not to. You cannot compare yourself to others.
No, but I tell you what, it's difficult when you see indie authors, especially on TikTok, because they have like this whole indie author community. And I'm like, how do you become a part of the indie author TikTok community. I remember I had Natasha Bishop on, and I was like, so how did you get into this whole situation? Because I really wanted to know, not that I was going to be able to infiltrate, because number one, I'm 50. Number 573 don't have the energy to do all of that they do. But she was like, it's just consistency, blah, blah, blah. I said, oh, I said, okay, I hear you. I hear you and I see you and I'm so proud of you. But you don't ever have to worry about me showing up consistently on TikTok every day, all day with the book and doing it's a lot. But these millennials are like, this is what I know.
We're born with devices where for us, I'm like I tell that to my daughter, I'm not accustomed to videoing every move I make. It doesn't dawn on me to get a camera to take a picture or take a video of anything that I see. Matter of fact, the last time I was on vacation, I don't think I took a picture or a video. I forgot. Because I'm
There you
so
go.
into the moment, my brain is not wired that way. When I grew up, I'm 57, so there were no devices.
It's not look 57.
You know what I'm
Don't
saying?
ever
There were,
crack.
right? There were none. So I don't think that way. But I do understand that if you're going to market the book, you do have to be consistent. And so as a indie publisher, yes, I have to be consistent. So I have been incredibly consistent on my content for the last since I relaunched and rebranded. It is trying some days, but I record in bulk and then upload 2 weeks out, so I don't have to worry about it, right? I've
Yeah.
tried to figure out ways that I can still have my personal life, have Kelly life, have her author life, have her publisher life, and so that it's not all consuming because that's where
Yeah.
burnout comes in,
Yep.
right? And I don't, and I think that, my audience isn't necessarily on TikTok all the time, right?
That part.
So you have to it's a tool. Social media is a tool, but
Mhm.
I've been really focused on podcast, bookstores, book clubs, things outside of the algorithm to really connect with readers. Hence the book club, and stuff like that, because social media is fine and dandy. It's great, but it's not the end all be all. And
No, and it is the algorithm.
not everybody's on social media. And when they are, they may not even see what you put out there. There's a chance that they
Yeah.
may not see what you put out there. There's a lot of content on social
Mhm.
media.
It is. I love that you're like focusing more on like hands-on physical spaces or virtual spaces, but not spaces that are dictated by some math problem.
Well, because I'm a firm believer in that your reader ultimately wants to know who you are.
Mhm.
You know, I want to know, like, if I have an author, I mean, I have authors, and when I find a book that I like, I will usually try to go look that author up because I
Mhm.
want to know more about them, right? I love
Yeah.
your words. Now, who are you? You got to come out from behind the camera, and I've noticed something too. I am so unfiltered, right? I have never used a filter in my life. And when I look at other people, I'm like, God, they look so perfect. I'm thinking, well, filters, Kelly. I'm like, well, you know what? I don't have time
Filters.
for that. I do not have time for a filter. If you are so wrapped up in what I look like, how
Mhm.
could you possibly be paying attention to my words?
True
You know
that.
what I'm
I love a
saying?
filter though, but let me tell you something. TikTok makes me look like a supermodel. And it's not even, I love it. I love playing with it. It's almost like adult dress up.
I've never got into it enough to play with maybe one day I will. And I don't even, TikTok is one, I don't have, well, this is me. I have no apps on my phone. The only app I have on my phone as far as social media apps is Instagram, only because I'm forced to, because it's a
Yeah.
phone app. If I
Hmm.
can do it from a laptop, I'm doing it from a laptop. And TikTok, I can do from a laptop. So that's why I don't know a lot about them, because I know me and I can get sucked into a rabbit hole very quickly on social media. And so to protect my time and my space and my
Hmm.
sanity, I purposely do not have apps on my phone. The
That
only
is
thing
brilliant.
if you see me on my phone, I am probably playing a game, but I am not on a social media app. And I do that intentionally because
Mhm.
I always tell myself, you're so busy watching other people's lives. What are you doing with your own? And that will stop me instantly from scrolling. Like, you're absolutely right. I'm so caught up in these strangers' lives and what they're doing. What are you doing? You're burning time here. Your time on this planet
Oh,
is limited. Why are you watching other people? This is designed to keep you distracted so that you are not living your best life. So that social media is designed to keep you small. I don't care what anybody says. It is designed to keep you distracted.
mhm.
All right. So that you are not doing what you're supposed to do, because whatever you're supposed to be doing, it is not on social media. I guarantee you, the universe designed you for so much more than a social media app. That's just my opinion. Some might disagree. That's me, man.
Mic drop.
I am meant for
Mic
something
drop.
else.
You just dropped the mic. When I tell you I'm going to go and get rid of all of my apps,
Yep. It's
because
time to do
you're
something
right.
else.
You're 100% right.
And even I told my daughter, even because my goal is to move out of the country. My next move is Costa Rica. That's the move, right? And when I do that, you will not. The only time you'll see me on social media is when I'm telling you all the stuff that I've grown, all the
Mhm.
food. That's what I'll be sharing with you. But all that other, look at me, look how cool. No, man, if you ain't here with me experiencing it, for you. That's the way I look at it. Ain't for you. You got to be it. You got to be here to experience it. I'm not trying to put it out there so you can all.
Exactly.
I don't need your likes and views and validation. Is what I'm trying to say, right? To live my best life.
Right. Right.
I'm not trying to be arrogant, and I'm not trying to be anything 100% authentic and real. And if it comes off as arrogant, again,
Yeah.
not for you. I'm sorry. No, let
Yeah.
me take
Because
that
all
back.
I'm
I'm
getting here,
sorry. Energetic, not for you.
that's it. All I'm getting here is I have a vision for my life. I've been given this vision and I'm working towards that.
Every
And if
day.
you aren't a part of it, then it's not for. I love it. 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 Yeah.
So
You're trying to get to you said the Dominican? No, Costa Rica.
Rica. I just want to go someplace where I can grow all year round because
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer in you should grow your own food, especially in today's world.
Indeed.
I think that the more that we evolve, the more that we go back to our roots because they were on to something. They were on to something. The people that lived here way before any of us were on to something. I believe that they lived with peace and harmony and nature, and there was a balance, and it was all good. And my gut, everything I know, I believe that. And I want to grow my own food and live my days in peace.
Not on a rat race. And right, not working so that you can actually eat. Not
Yes.
working so that you could actually live.
You
Yeah,
know,
I
to work to live, right? I
know.
don't want
Because
to
why?
work and forever. And, I know some people are chasing that six figures. I'm here to tell you, once you get it, then what? Because, the quicker you get it, somebody is right there trying to take it from you. Believe
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So I just want to live and be happy. I don't know what that means. And so I don't limit myself to the universe
Exactly.
because the universe knows what I mean when I say that. So if I'm
That's it.
happy and all my means are taken care of, what more could I possibly ask for out of life?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I swear to Bob that you and I don't know what this is. It's happening a lot more often, which leads me to believe that my altar work is working, that all of my cleansing is working because I have been saying I just need to be around people that I can be in community with and not have to be a certain way or act a certain way, have a certain thing. I need people that I can be in community with and I can just be me and they can just be them. And then it's easy. I need ease. If it's ease when it happens, then I'm like, Suka, these are my people. These are my people.
You
But
try.
that's it. It has been happening more and more. And I'm so grateful for it. Just to even like spend a moment with someone that you're in sync with, it bolsters the energy for the next time you're around someone you're not.
It gives you that validation that you're on the right path, that even though
Yeah.
days, because my circle's small, right? My circle is incredibly small, and I don't, even though I've lived in Colorado for a while, almost 10 years, a little over 10 years, I don't know a lot of people, right? I wouldn't say I have friends in Colorado. I would go that,
Mhm.
because I did when I worked in an office, but those were work friends. You no longer
Yes.
work with them, you no longer see them, right? Which
Yep.
tells you you really weren't friends, right?
Exactly.
And then now that I work remotely, I don't see anybody. So I don't really, you don't have the opportunity that you had when you go to an office and you're out and about. Working remotely, you're very isolated. And I'm cool working remotely. I love it. But it makes it so that it's hard for me to go out and meet people. And then of course,
Yeah.
I'm the odd person out. I'm over here talking about the universe and all this other stuff, and some people are like, or I'm asking like I said, like the dog so I'm just different. But, whatever. If it doesn't jive with you, then again, not for
I'm not
you.
for you.
And it's okay.
But I had to come to that conclusion too, because like my writing is somewhat esoteric, but not really. I don't think it is, but it leans towards spiritual. It's always going to have some vein of spiritualism. And I write erotica, so I'm always like, we got to get it from the
Mm,
whole chicka bow wow and get it into where
right.
I know it needs to be. And it takes me a while to get there. So it's some good stuff happening. And it's still some better stuff happening once we imbue it with spirituality, but it's always there. And people say, "Oh, you write erotica. I can't wait to read it." And then they're like, you like a college degree to read this. And I'm like, no, you don't need a college degree. You need an open mind and you need to be okay with the plot and the character who is not one dimensional.
Right. I bet you it's good erotica. I like erotica with a good plot.
I'll send you some books. I'll send you
Girl.
some. It's a 4-part series.
Okay. I'm down for it.
Okay.
I love erotica with good plots. I want to be able to feel for my characters. They
You
can't be
will.
one dimensional.
Honey, these characters are so ridiculously evolved. They are more human than I am. I'm serious. They are more human than me. And I've been with them for 13 years. So they are really why I started this podcast, because I was depressed when I finished the series.
Wow, because they are such a big part of you. I get it. I get it.
And I was like, what are they going to do? Like, what's happening with them?
Well, you forget that your characters aren't real because they live up here. They're living, breathing. When I write, my characters are literally having dialogue and I'm trying to keep up with what's being said because it
Yes.
plays out like a movie in my head. You
Yeah.
Sound White is a movie. It is a full-fledged, in my head, it's a movie,
Yeah.
you
And
know?
see, when you were talking about singing, I said, well, that's so cool because all of my characters come to me in song. They all come to me in song, and it's so crazy. And I'm singing and I record all of it. And that way I know what's happening. But they all come to me in song because that was the first language. I couldn't talk because I had a stutter. So I could sing.
That is hilarious. And I always sing to remember stuff. And I don't know. I've just always, and matter of fact, I caught my grandson doing it where he's just making up songs too. And my daughter's like,
Mm.
see, you've got well, my life is literally a musical. I
As
hear,
it should
I
be.
have a theme song and everything.
Okay. See, you saw the look, right? Y'all aren't going to be privy to the look, but that was a whole conversation in a couple of seconds, right? Yeah, I love this. I love this. Where are we? What time is it? Because
Eventually, I will have to go back. Eventually.
yes. So let us not, this is always happens. So we have talked about your book and its healing properties, which I think is amazing. We've talked about we have talked about so much. And I'm not cutting any of it because I think all of it is so like necessary. You said you wrote poetry. I have to ask you about that before I hit my fast 5 in 5. So, right, you said when you were depressed, you write really bad, sad poetry.
I do. I haven't written poetry for a while. I think I write poetry all the time in my head. I just don't necessarily write it down. Right.
Mhm.
But when I was depressed, I would just write through my depression. That's how I would process. So
Mhm.
writing is very therapeutic for me. I don't necessarily write when I'm happy. It's just writing is just it's a thing to get out all of my emotions when I'm sad.
Mhm.
And I journal as well. I've gone back and read some of my stuff. I'd be like, wow, what was happening then? But like some of my stuff, like I remember when I lived in Atlanta, I started kind of doing open mics. I was never very good at some of the people that would get up there because, again, not being from the South and not having the passion that people of color bring to the mic, and they're very animated. I'm not, because I grew up in Utah and white people aren't animated, and I have white mannerisms, and I've come to embrace who I am, but it took me a long time. I would never admit I was from Salt Lake City. I would always lie and tell people I was from someplace else because I never wanted that stigma, right? So I would try to do the open mics, but I was never very good. The words were good. It was just, I don't know, some people just could come with this delivery and they would just do, and it was just never me, right? And so did some of my poetry there, and I got, I mean, people listen to the words, but I never felt confident to really take it to the next level and maybe
Mm-hmm.
be a spoken word artist, right? But I used to do one at a little coffee shop with a lady where it was very non-spoken word. It was just people getting up and doing poetry. And I did that for a very
Yeah.
long time when I lived in Atlanta. And I would write for that. So that was when I was like not writing necessarily sad poetry. And I still have the book.
Mm-hmm.
And I tried to do one here in Aurora a couple of years ago before COVID, where I was trying to do, like, through a meetup group, do a little poetry. And I had people show, and I found a little coffee shop to do it. But then
Mm-hmm.
for whatever reason, well, I think I got cheap because meetup group wanted to charge me,
Oh, yeah.
right, for the group. So I'm like, I'm not doing all that. So I stopped doing it. So I didn't do it anymore. But I haven't written anything written down for a while. I think the last thing I wrote was called Body,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I actually recorded it on my phone because I turned it into a song, right? And so and I have my grandson singing it. I always thought I would be a great host for a children's show because I'm so childlike. I love to play
Mm-hmm.
and laugh. And so me and my grandson, he's like 8, so we get along. So I won't sing it to you, but it's called Body. So it's like,
You can sing it.
okay.
Girl, you on the look.
I remember I'm no singer, but I will sing it for you. And it's just a little song I wrote. It goes, I love my B-O-D. I love my B-O-D. I love my B-O-D. Why? I love my body from my head to my toe, from my outside to my soul, no matter where I go, 'cause everybody knows this is my B-O-D, my B-O-D. Why? 'Cause it's my body. I love what I see, 'cause it's all in me. It doesn't matter what you see, because it's my body. It's my body. It's my body.
I love this. Look, I don't know if you can see the joy on my face as I am dancing and
So I write, so that's poetry. And so I'll sing stuff like that all day, but I don't necessarily write it down. That one, I just, for whatever reason, that
the
day I
children's.
wrote it down. And then I thought, you know what? I'm going to record this. And so it's on my phone and I listen
That
to
is
it
a
every day.
children's book. That is a children's book.
I have a children's book that I'm working on now called Sunny's Garden.
Oh, it's Sunny.
I'm just looking for an illustrator. Sunny's Garden is about a little girl who her mom is a horticulturalist and she's going away for 3 months to go work on the environment. And so she gives
Mhm.
her a sunflower seed to grow while she's gone because a sunflower will grow in 90 days. So why her mom is gone doing this is the name of the sunflower. The little girl's name is Gaia because Gaia means what? Earth, right? So the little girl's name is Gaia. So she gives Gaia the sunflower to grow while she's gone. So it's about her growing this. It's about loss of, somebody being gone. But more importantly, it teaches you about gardening. So I give all types of what I want to say facts
Mhm.
and incorporate it into this little girl growing this sunflower. It's called and it's going to be a series because once she grows the sunflower, then we'll grow food, then we'll
Mhm.
harvest the food. We'll talk about pollinators. I want it to be like a 4 to 5 book series for kids, all about gardening. Because, like I said, I'm a master gardener, but that is kind of moving slower than I hope because I'm really looking for an illustrator because I have a picture. See, this is my problem when I wrote Sunny's Garden, it didn't play out like a movie. It played out like a cartoon.
Mhm.
So it's an animated cartoon in my head. So I know what I want the characters to kind of look like, but I draw stick pitch people. I'm not an artist at all. I'm not an artist at all. So I need to find somebody who can draw what I'm having a hard time with this. So that's where I'm stuck with Sunny's Garden, because it must have pictures in order for it to be successful. It must have pictures.
I'm going to send you a name. I'm going to send you a name and a number.
Okay. The book is done, but I need the pictures. Yes. I'm working on Sunny's Garden as well. So yeah, that's what I've got. Yeah. So yeah. Could I be a children's author? 100%.
Yeah. Because I'm like, I want this, my body. I want it in body. Yeah. I want it in a book, and I want you singing the song. I can scan a QR code, and my youngest kid is 18. She'll be 19 on the 15th. I will be listening to this because I'm like, oh my gosh, I love it. I love it. It's body positive. It's also body safety. It's all the things.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. So yeah. So that is, if you ask me, do I write poetry on a daily? Do I write it down? Not necessarily. It's in my head.
Gotcha. Okay. I just wanted to see, because like I'm a diehard poet, and it's the first thing I ever started writing was poetry. And of course you're writing it as like I'm writing it as a middle school kid who is being
Some of
weird.
it's pretty bad. Some of it.
I go back and look at my journals from middle school, and I was like, girl, it was not that serious. It was not that deep. But when you're 12 and that dude's not talking to you, but
It's
he's
serious.
your friend, like, you're like, what's wrong? Yeah. Melodramatic. That was me. All right. We're gonna scoot on to rapid fire. We do 5 questions in 5 minutes.
Let's do it.
We're not gonna do it, but we're gonna pretend. We're gonna pretend that it's gonna be 5 minutes. Here we go. What book cracked you open as a writer, and what book built you back up as a publisher?
Me open as a writer. Such a good question. Book cracked me open as a writer. I know this is going to sound really, 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 really funny. And I just know people are going to be like, what? But when I was younger, much, 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 much younger, and I would read books, I almost hate to say this out loud, because man, this is just reveals so much about my personality. I really, 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 really liked those Richard Scarry books. Remember those Richard Scarry books with the animals? And he would list everything in the picture, the table, the chair, and all the characters were animals. And I know this is going to sound funny because I don't have like a spiritual book or anything. I just remember being little and looking at those books and wanting to know the words on the page so bad that I would just study those books for hours. And I think about those books all the time, because those books, I realized that if I could learn to write, I could make stories like in these books. So if you're asking me, was it like a book I read? No, it was literally those Richard Scarry picture books that I would look at because I wanted to know the words on the pages. I didn't know the words yet, but I remember being little and just wanting to know the words.
I love that.
And I know that's not what you thought I was going to say.
Oh, no, I had no preconceived notions. I have never heard of Richard Scarry books. And so now I have to write that down.
You have to look him up, because if you look at him, all the characters are animals. They're animated books, they're children's books, and all the characters are animals. But his thing was he might have a fire station, and he would list everything in the fire station. So it's not that they were stories. It would just be a picture of a fire station. Hose, fire truck, fire hat. Just that's what the books were. And he would do it for everything, a grocery store, just whatever. Look them up. I love those books. Okay. And I just love those books. Just the way the characters were drawn, the colors, they were hardback. And I just love those books. I still think about those books to this day.
Lord, now I'm going to be on the hunt to find one just so I can send it to you. I wonder, now I'm going to be like reaching out. Okay. And the second part of the question, and what book built you back up as a publisher?
What book built me back up? Honestly, I got to tell you, it was probably Wait For It. It was my own. Because that's what catapulted me to even be sitting here in front of you. Yeah. Wait For It was what made me come back with Bright-Headed Publishing again, republish it. I did an audiobook for it. And yeah, so that's the book that built me back up therapeutically and gave me the push that I needed to come out and do this again and not so much worry about the validation or even the judgment because I had already put everything on the page.
Yeah, left it on the page. I love that. Number two, what's one sacred non-negotiable in your writing or in your lifestyle practice that protects you?
I'm not going to write what I don't know, right? I'm always going to write what I know. And it's always going to be my truth when I write. I'm not going to try to, somebody had once told me a long time ago, this one guy, when I was pitching my book, I found this one Black publisher. And he told me if I wanted to ever get published, I need to write erotica because that's what people wanted to read. And one non-negotiable is I'm never going to put myself in a box and I'm never going to label myself to a genre.
Right.
People ask me that all the time. What's your genre? I don't know.
Whatever comes out.
Whatever it is, I guess. Whatever. I don't know. I don't have one. I'm not going to limit. I might decide to write a romance book one day. I don't know. I might decide to write a spy novel. I don't know. I don't have a genre. I just write. I just like stories. So that's the non-negotiable. Not going to label myself for nobody ever. Sorry.
I love that. I do love that. How do you decide which stories deserve your attention?
That's a good question because I feel like every story deserves attention. Who am I to say that your story isn't worthy? I'm not going down that road because I've been told that before. I can't answer that because I don't feel like I have the right to tell you what stories deserve attention and what stories don't, because I sure don't want somebody saying that my story doesn't deserve attention. So I'm not going to put that on anybody. So I can't answer that for you.
My gosh, I love it. I am just like sitting here. I'm so glad that this is an audio podcast, so nobody to see me up here cheesing like I am. Because yeah. What do you wish more Black women writers understood about owning their intellectual property?
That your words matter. That regardless of what anybody says, don't let anybody diminish your journey. Don't dumb it down or dim it to make other people feel uncomfortable. Be the person in the room that makes everybody feel uncomfortable. You want to know why? Because they all envy and want to be you. That's why they're uncomfortable. They don't understand you. They can't walk in your light. They are tired of being in your shadow, and so they want to diminish you and make you feel some type of way. Girl, please do not ever. Black women, please. And you know what? And another thing for Black women, and you know what? Please, 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 please do not tear a Black woman down because she is not on your page or your platform or your whatever. Because just because she's not in your lane or she's not where you are in life doesn't mean that what she's doing isn't what she needs to be doing. Even if it's stuff you don't agree with, man, let people be people. Just like you got to be you, let her be her. And even though sis, she may be doing the most, let that woman be her. You focus on you and we'll all be good, right? We just need to uplift one another. Quit competing. I don't like to see Black women out there tearing down other Black women. It irritates the shit out of me. I'm sorry. I do not like it at all. Stop. We got enough issues, okay? This is what they want. So when you hear Black women out there talking about another Black woman, it's all there by design, right? Because guess what? If we're bickering about one another, we're not doing what we need to be doing, which is out there being our best. How can you possibly be your best if you're over here talking about somebody else? Come on, sis. Come on. You can do better.
I
hope that we all get that message that they want us to tear one another down, then they don't have to.
Well, I'm going to piggyback on you. They need us to tear each other down because we're the only ones who can.
Yeah, 100% agreed. And I learned something the other day about a Black woman that I did not know, which really, every time I think of it, I'm like, yeah, Black women are the only woman on earth that can produce all colors. And so that in itself is greatness, ladies. Okay? That in itself should tell you that we are the blueprint. Okay? We are the blueprint.
I say it all the time. I say it all the time. Black women are the blueprint. And not just the blueprint for Black womaning. We are the blueprint for femininity. We are the blueprint for culture. We are the blueprint for what a family is. You don't have Black women in your life, then are you really living?
And so that would be my thing. Just, let's not tear one another down. Let's
Yeah,
not. Let's not. Even if she, like I said, even if she's doing the most, she gonna get it one day. She gonna get it one day.
that's it. That's it. She will get it. I love that. I love that. I think we actually stayed within almost 5 minutes. And so good on you. Look, because you were coming with it like da 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 da. Bob and weave. Yeah. And you said be the one who disturbs and makes people uncomfortable. That is my tagline for my publishing company. We publish what disturbs the status quo. Write
Be a
what
disruptor.
disturbs the status quo.
And I
And
used
I
to
love
walk
that.
into rooms and people would stare at me. It'd make me very uncomfortable. But you know what? Whatever. I'm not here. If you make people uncomfortable, that says something, but not about you, about them.
Yep.
Don't let other people rent space in your head. That would be my advice.
Yeah, definitely. And take up as much space as you desire to do
Be
all the
big,
time.
be bold.
Be beautiful. Yeah. There we are. Okay. It's time for the game. This is called the Audacity of Game Changers. And I just think that it's us, right? We're the game changers. So the audacity of Black women writers. All you need to do is pick a number 1 through 10.
Let's go. Want me to pick a number? 1
Mm-hmm.
through 10?
Mm-hmm.
7.
Everybody pick 7. I don't know why y'all love 7 so much. Okay. Now the word is audacity, and I just need you to pick a letter out of that word.
C.
Okay. Can you
Change.
That's your word. And your topic is growth and resilience. And I'm going
Okay.
to give you the option. I have never done this before. You can either tell me an impromptu short story using this word change about growth and resilience, or you can go ahead and be in the musical and sing a song.
Well,
Your choice.
we're gonna tell you a little story about growth and resilience. It's gonna be a little quick story. It's not a long story, but I will tell you a story about growth and resilience.
Okay, we get
So,
5 minutes.
gotcha.
Okay.
So like I said, had wrote my first book, and like I said, had went out and shopped it to publishers, and I even shopped for literary agents, right? And got a lot of no's. I told you I found the one publisher and he published the book for me, and he was a predatory publisher, and he took me for the $700 and took all the money and took the book and everything. And it was at that point in time that I stopped and I gave up, and I spent a lot of time crying in my closet. I'm a private crier. I don't like to cry in public. I don't know what it is. I don't like to cry in public. So, if I'm going to cry out in the closet, door closed, you'd never know I was crying. I try to play it off. I try to be so hard. Right. And I, finally, after time, like I said, I had gotten the book back. Right. But it was really easy for me to stop and just not do anything and just kind of wallow in this self-pity that I had. And I found that the more that I wallowed in the self-pity, the bigger and bigger that the self-pity got, right? And it's kind of weird. It's like a snowball effect, right? And it wasn't until one day, and I was married at the time, right? One day I'm in bed and I'm eating, I don't know what I'm eating. I'm eating something in bed. And I probably weigh maybe 250, 255. I'm not really doing anything, just going to work every day. It's not really doing anything positive, right? Not happy in my marriage, all that good stuff. And I'm eating in bed. I remember my husband came in and he's like, Kelly, only fat girls eat in bed. That's fat girl shit you're doing right there. That's fat girl shit. And at that point in time, something just clicked in my head to make a change, right? But I didn't know how. I didn't know how to make that change. But I knew that I had to because those words hung in the air. I still hear them. Fat girl shit. That's fat girl shit. Eating in bed is fat girl shit. Anytime I'm in bed eating, I could be just eating whatever. Not even, but I could be in bed eating a carrot. It's still fat girl shit. Because only fat girls eat in bed. That hung in my head. That was a catalyst for a change for me, but I didn't know how to make the change, right? I didn't know what to do. And so I decided that I had kind of started meditating too. Not very good at it, not know if I'm doing it right, kind of stumbling, kind of trying to figure out what this is all about. Like, I know that I'm not a religious person, but I did know that there's something else out there, right? And I don't know what to do, but I started kind of meditating. And I tell you, the strangest thing happened to me. So I'm meditating, and usually nothing would happen, right? Nothing would happen. But this one time I meditated, I was like, I must have really whatever, because I heard this voice, not mine, for the first time, tell me that if I wanted to change, I had to be consistent and I had to be resilient. And I had never used the word resilient in anything that I had ever done. It's not my word. So I knew this was not me because it's not a word I use. And I didn't use consistent either because I wasn't either. I wasn't consistent or resilient, except in eating, right? And that it scared me because it wasn't me and it scared me, but it never left me. I always heard that resilience, and I didn't really know what that was. What is resilience? And I have found over time that resilience is pain, and it is struggle, and it is heartache, and it is loss, and it is tears, but it is also consistency. But through all of those things brought on what you asked me about was change, right? But those words, that's fat girl shit. And that, hearing that voice, now I meditate all the time. And I can tell you, that was one of the few times that that voice scared me. It was loud. When I tell you it was loud, it was scary. Cause I'm like, what? Just what? And I know that people will be like, I don't know, Kelly, and I don't share that story a lot, but that to me taught me what resilience is. I never, like I said, it's not a word I used. It told me you have to be consistent and you have to be resilient. I got goosebumps thinking about it because that's when you said that word, I don't use it often because it means something to me because I heard it in a different voice in my head and it was loud. So that's my story.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm glad you didn't sing. I'm glad you decided to tell this story. I think it might be one of my favorites.
Yeah, it was scary. It was a moment for me. It was in a moment, and it woke me up. I mean, it took me straight out of my meditation. It was screaming at me. You have to be consistent. You have to be resilient. Okay.
Yeah.
And I have
I
been
love
ever
it.
since. I have been
Love
ever
it.
since.
I'm throwing it out there. That's Fat Girl Shit title. I'm
Yeah,
just throwing it out there. That is a book title. Maybe that's the sequel. That's Fat Girl Shit.
yeah, that's fat
But
girl.
AT, Fat Girl Shit. Oh my gosh. My gosh.
Ooh, we could. You know what? We could write that book together. I
Don't play
bet
with
you we
me.
could write that book together. Fiction. It would be fire. Might be something when you're done with your writing class where you write a chapter and then I write a chapter, and not knowing what we're gonna write. Kind of like what Stephen King did with one of his, and they came up with the Talisman.
Mm-hmm.
You ever read that book? And they
Don't fool with Stephen King.
and so that was a really good book because he wrote it and another author wrote it and they did it like that and it came together. It was a very, very good book, very unique book.
I think, yeah, we will definitely be working together. I'm just almost tongue tied because there's so much here, right? Wow. Okay. Tell my listeners and your listeners and everybody who's going to be listening how they can get in touch with you.
My website is probably the best way, which is just brightheadedpublishing.com. That's a good way to reach me. You can, I'm on all social media platforms. So Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Facebook, all of that good stuff. I'm there. And then, of course, if you go to my website, you can check out the author's mic. So if you're an indie author or somebody in this space and you're looking to maybe, promote, you want to come on a podcast, whatever, I'm more than happy. If you are a reader and you want to read and support indie authors, definitely join the IRS, which is the Indie Reader Society. We launched June 15th. This is probably going to air after June 15th, but we're ongoing. So if you can, join us at any time, you have an open invitation. If you're an author and you're thinking, hey, I would love for my book to be in front of a book club and introduce me to more readers, pitch your book to the Indie Author Society or the Indie Reader Society. Definitely open to indie authors. I know some book clubs are closed and very selective. We are opened and we are here. We are created and we are all about supporting indie authors, especially underrepresented voices. So if you are an author of color, and I don't care what color, just color, then come on, bring, pitch. Everything will be on my link tree, or you can go to the website and be able to find information from that way. But I have a link tree because I have a lot going on. If you want free templates on how to pitch a book club, how to pitch a podcast, how to write a book. All of those things are also on the link tree. They're free downloads. They're free templates. You can download them. You can tweak them, make them your own, but it will give you a foundation to get started if you're trying to look to do these things and you don't really know how to get started. A lot of these things are behind paywalls. This is not. All of this stuff is free.
There you go. Miss Kelly Morgan, you are truly a gem. I'm so
Thank you.
serious. Like, and people say stuff like that and they just say it, but like, I don't say that very often. And you are a true gem. I'm so happy that we were able to come together.
Well, I'm so happy that I reached out to you again. I thought, I'm gonna try her one more time because it just kind of fell to the wayside with all the stuff I'm going on. But for whatever reason, it popped up again in my email as a reminder to reach out to you. So I
Yeah.
thought, I'm gonna reach out to her again and see if we can make something happen. So I'm so glad that I did.
Yeah, Kelly and I are gonna be messing some stuff up, some good trouble. That's what we're getting ready to get into. Some good trouble. Trust and believe. I'm here for it. So I'll make sure that we get all of your socials and your link tree and everything. It'll be in the show notes. But this has been probably one of my favorite shows.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me. It means the world to me. Thank you so much.
No, thank you for coming on. You've given me a lot to think about. And yep, we'll be talking. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Black Writer Therapy, where we amplify and celebrate the voices of unapologetic Black women writers. We're proud to be part of the Alive Podcast Network. Be sure to tap into the only Black woman-owned podcast network with its very own proprietary platform and app. When you download the Tap In app, you gain access to nearly 100 Black creative voices. To support Black Writer Therapy, subscribe and choose me as your favorite podcast host. 50% of your subscription fee goes directly to this show and allows me to continue to bring you quality content like this. Until next time, remember, be kindest to yourself first, always, and in all ways. I am Ella Shawn, your host for Black Writer Therapy Podcast.